I am Kesten Rono, and you are here for day 37 of our exploration of A Course in Miracles. Thank you for being here. I wonder what time it is for you. I'm excited to do another practice. Let's just dive right in. Principle 37. A miracle is a correction introduced into false thinking by me. A miracle is a correction introduced into false thinking by me. A correction introduced by false thinking by me? A miracle is a correction introduced into false thinking by me. Okay, so I'm the actor that is introducing a correction to false thinking. What? It acts as a catalyst, breaking up erroneous perception and reorganizing it properly. It acts as a catalyst, okay? A miracle is a correction introduced into false thinking by me. It acts as a catalyst, breaking up erroneous perception and reorganizing it properly. That part makes sense. We're talking about this reorganization of levels. That we've had some wrong perception and we are on our way to true perspective. This catalyst, breaking up erroneous perception and reorganizing it properly, this places you under the atonement principle, capital A, atonement, where perception is healed. So miracles are healing. Miracles are healing. Atonement means undoing. The atonement with a capital A is the process of an interlocking chain of forgiveness at its completion. That is the atonement. So, a miracle is a correction introduced into false thinking by me. A miracle is a correction by me. It acts as a catalyst, breaking up erroneous perception and reorganizing it properly. This places you under the atonement principle, where perception is healed. Interesting the use of me and you here. I hadn't thought about this yet. I thought all versions of you were speaking to me and all versions of me were speaking as me, but perhaps this needs to be revisited. A miracle is a correction introduced into false thinking by me. It acts as a catalyst, breaking up erroneous perception and reorganizing it properly. This places you under the atonement principle, where perception is healed, under the undoing principle, under the completion of the interlocking chain of forgiveness principle, where perception is healed. We remember on day 24, miracles enable you to heal the sick and raise the dead because you made sickness and death yourself. Miracles are healing. This was day 8. Miracles are healing because they supply a lack. They are performed by those who temporarily have more for those who temporarily have less. Miracles are a healing process. Perception is healed. However, we have been seeing this erroneous perception, which gets broken up through this correction process of a miracle. Our perception is healed under the atonement principle, under the undoing property of what miracles and their forgiveness is. Until this has occurred, where perception is healed, until this has occurred, Knowledge of the divine order is impossible. Divine order also capitalized here. So there is a divine order, and our perception of it is possible. If we have not been perceiving life around us in divine order, then we are not there yet. It's impossible until the atonement, capital A principle, has been, reached. How does that happen? Well, it's a great undoing. Atoning means undoing, we learned on day 26. The undoing of fear is an essential part of the atonement value of miracles. So miracles, again, we're being told, have this property of atoning. It is one of their values. Miracles have values, one of which is atonement. An essential part of that is undoing of fear. Atoning means undoing. Miracles represent freedom from fear. Day 24. You are a miracle, capable of creating in the likeness of your Creator. Miracles enable you to heal the sick. Everything else is your own nightmare and does not exist. Only the creations of light are real. Okay? Atoning means undoing. The undoing of fear is an essential part of the atonement value of miracles. Breaking up erroneous perception, our fearful perception, allowing it to be reorganized properly rather than us seizing control of it, giving us some illusion of power, of safety, further cementing this idea that we are in combat with God and His natural order and the process of forgiveness and the recognition of love. Breaking up this erroneous perception, allowing all levels to be arranged in their true order, reorganizing perception properly, places us under the atonement principle, places us under the ability to undo our fears. When we undo our fears, our perception is healed. How do we know we are healed? We are perceiving the divine order. Maybe that's further down the road, but until this has occurred, knowledge of the divine order is impossible. Okay, one more try with this opening statement. A miracle is a correction. Okay, what is it correcting? It's correcting our erroneous perception. A miracle is a correction introduced into false thinking by me. I suppose I'm confused by the idea of introducing a correction into anything. I don't know how to introduce something into something. But I can admit I don't understand. What I do read this as is that there is a perception of the world, period. And I'm coloring this perception with illusions based off of my fears. I've aligned myself with my ego. So I've introduced a false thinking, that I am thinking at all. So perhaps miracles are just the process of correcting my false thinking, what I have created, and I have ownership over the idea that I am creating it. I see this is asking that to be recognized, that this correction is a catalyst, undoing our erroneous perception, reorganizing it, inviting us to live under a process, an interlocking chain of forgiveness, an undoing of our fears, which is an essential part of the atonement value of miracles. This correction, this breaking up of erroneous perception, heals our perception. And only once this is done knowledge, which may be different than just perceiving something differently, but knowledge of the divine order is impossible. We must see differently. We must recognize everything for what it is, an illusion. We must affirm our spirit identification. We must deny our body identification as a means of practicing. I intend to celebrate health however I can include its principles in what I am learning here, attempting to move beyond the image I'm creating of myself and then therefore just reflecting around me. Or perhaps that is the point, but perhaps it can be done with more truth once this divine order is perceived, once its knowledge is known, once a spirit identification is affirmed, once God is speaking very directly to me. And perhaps he is already, but I have not been able to hear it because I have some erroneous perception that I've been insisting that I know best how things are ordered. And when you tell me that I am making up the world around me, the same that I am making up the world within me, as I said in previous videos, like my hang up there is, well, what I'm imagining is inside versus outside is purely coming down to my eyelids closing. Are my eyelids closing really such a portal that I am moving into an unknown imaginary space? They do still show light when a light is shined on the outside of our eyelids. It stands to reason then that what is happening around me is somehow related to what is happening inside of me. That there is no such thing as like my eyelids closing and therefore what's around me does not exist, so I can finally focus on my imagination. It may be that my imagination is casting all the time. It's just that I can focus on it easier when I'm not inundated by light being recognized as certain shapes and objects around me to which I've already assigned all the meaning that they have. It just doesn't fundamentally feel true that these worlds are entirely separate. What is it about opening and closing our eyes other than allowing us to focus on ideas that are external versus internal? What is it about our insistence on that being absolutely true? Is it because I cannot bump into the images in my mind that I think that they're fundamentally different? I don't know. But this book is asking us to stretch beyond any way we have been thinking before. How are we supposed to arrive at the idea that everything in our minds and everything around us is our imagination? What will it take for us to try on that particular idea? The simplest lens that I can see it through is that of an idea of a spirit using its imagination for an experience. In that sense, the body itself, me, what I'm imagining inside through this spiritual process of creation, and what I am witnessing outside, all of it are just, well, the same, but possibly just for our mind to organize, are just different layers, extensions of the same layer of imagination of the spirit. Could the spirit, being divined with creation in its perfection as a creation of God, right? That God could be the master of spirits. And the spirit is created in the image of God. And the spirit itself is creating an experience that God is linked to through the experience of the spirit. That the spirit is creating a human experience or a dog experience or a plant experience or a light experience or a flame experience. Or all of it. That if a spirit could create an idea in its imagination of a human, with all of its infinite complexities, guided by God, and inhabit that idea, well, then everything that I am and everything that I'm experiencing would be enveloped in my holiness, in the Spirit's holiness, the exact connection to God. Again, I do not want to believe in nihilism, which I think is on the path of fear, that we look around and we discover everything is meaningless, but we're unable to realize that it being meaningless is the point, that we're supposed to see it for the illusion that it is. And instead we think, what's the point of living in this world? Ironically, we couldn't be further from the truth that where we believe we are existing, what is the point? Perhaps the point is to make it feel so meaningless that we see it's meaningless, and we are able to reconnect with our divine selves, transcend beyond the body, and begin a healing process from wherever we have been misguided with our erroneous building tools, trying to put nothing in order, building towards a goal that has no meaning, because we do not fundamentally understand the divine purpose of everything around us. And despite all that, I'm here to tell myself, to tell you, to tell this book, that there's just no way that I could find a through line. There's just no way that I can't find inconveniences in the way that I've organized the world. That my internal is when my eyes are closed and my external is when my eyelids are folded up. What a joke. What a joke. Would anything about what we experience with our senses and all the busyness that we have and the bills that we feel we need to pay and what the weather's going to be and what's happening on the news and everything, would any of that need to be denied as experienced? Would any of that need to be denied as having been possible? Illusion or otherwise? Do we really have to unvalidate the infinite of what we're able to do as a spirit creating? If we assumed the perspective of spirit and stepped into some divine order, some celestial realm, and we were able to somehow link that knowledge to the experience that we're having as a human, would it invalidate the beauty of being able to imagine what it's like to be a human and to operate in time and space? I don't know, because right now I probably am still hanging up in my erroneous perception, even asking these questions. And so my knowledge of the divine order is still impossible to understand. But does there necessarily need to be a threat? Imagine you are a spirit. Imagine, as the human that you are living in a simulation, right? We've heard this idea before. We want to equate it to computers in today's era. Forget computers. You're still in a simulation. You're in the spirit's simulation, the spirit's imagination, the spirit's experience, aided through the divine creation of the master of all spirits. And so we are a divine, holy, perfect creation, and we're here to celebrate that. If we are perfect, if we are a spirit, and if we can imagine what it is like to be human, and we can imagine all the complexities of this body and all of its tools, and they just keep getting more infinite and deeper the better our microscopes get. If we can imagine that experience, and we can imagine everything around us such that from the body's perspective, all of those things feel extremely physical. If we can imagine that, wouldn't the ability to imagine as a spiritual identity be part of the perfect opportunity of what experience is? Does that make sense? If you have a gift to create all of this quote unquote virtual reality, such that we can demand from here where I'm sharing with you that can't be true. That's a bunch of baloney. Baloney. Silly meat being called baloney. I like it. That, hey, all this stuff is baloney. Everything is cool until I have to start admitting that this table, I don't want to knock and scare the dog. This table is real as a table. You've just gone too far saying this is my imagination in front of me. Wouldn't it be a celebration what we are here to do? Celebrating God's creations. Wouldn't it be a celebration, possibly at least, from this lens as we're attempting to identify with our spirit, but from the lens of you and me thinking that it's ridiculous that a table isn't a solid object meant for stacking books on? Wouldn't it be a celebration to recognize that from here, we could be so tricked into believing that this is totally real, that this table definitely only serves the purpose of being a table, that there is no universal divine purpose to it? Wouldn't it be a celebration of our perfection as a spirit to say, oh my gosh, this is so good. I am so good at this imaginary thing that I have tricked myself. And even if we knew that that was possible, perhaps then in divine order, we are appreciative of how fun it is to be human, that it detracts from nothing about how a human feels, about how a dog feels, about what a plant is, that it only aids our experience. True vision may only bless. It requires no sacrifice of anyone. All that we are giving up is our obsession with wearing an attack and fearful and painful and shameful and depressed lens of the ego. All we're going to do is give up our insistence on pulling the past into the present and feeling from there, saying this must be the only way because this is how I have experienced it. All we're going to do is release those things with forgiveness and gratitude, right? Love, appreciation, and an open mind is all that we need to wake up to the universal purpose that exists in any object whatsoever. That if we can see the light in one, we can see it in anything. May we accept that we are curious about meaning, that everyone is looking for some kind of meaning, which is purpose, which is the truth, which is love, which when we build with it, creates abundance, releasing some kind of fear of the unknown, that we're looking for that. That we're looking for that. But if we do not know innately what the divine order is, perhaps we have not found the most divine order, the most meaning, the highest truth, that which is as truth, a baseline foundation for everything that we're experiencing. If we're looking for meaning and curious about purpose, wouldn't it be amazing to wonder, oh my goodness, in the name of love, is there a greater purpose for this table? What would it take for me to believe that there is? What is the most logical through line that would allow me to possibly even see how that's realistic? Well, I think this book is spelling it out. You have God, the Creator, creating us with His holiness, without sin, because we are connected to his mind. What if we're just the mind? We are a spiritual mind existing, however we exist, with direct connection to God because he can speak directly to us. That we could simply be guided. What if these are the rules of being a spirit? Is to let this idea of experience run its course until we wake up. What if reincarnation is not really dying and turning over through some magical process in the earth to become a dog or a plant? What if that process is just so easy and straightforward because it's as simple as using our own imaginations to say, picture a dog, got it. Picture a tree, okay, got it. I turned my image in my mind, what I'm experiencing from a dog to a tree. What if I am simply allowing myself to have infinite number of experiences, to celebrate God's gifts and perfections by waking up in my own dream to myself, so I may remember in celebration having believed that I forgot, so I may remember my absolute divinity, my holiness, to relax the idea that I must be in control in my physical body, but I am instead fully enveloped in my holiness, existing in a perfectly peaceful, perfectly safe, perfectly free from worry space. Because where am I? I am in my own mind connected to God's. Miracles enable you to heal the sick and raise the dead because you made sickness and death yourself and can therefore abolish both. You, it's italicized, you are a miracle. You're a miracle. Everything that we've described about what a miracle is, that is exactly what you are. You are capable of creating in the likeness of your creator. Whoa. Whoa. Everything else is your own nightmare and does not exist. Only the creations of light are real. This would be how we would trick ourselves. We're allowed to play in our own imagination, testing an idea. This is how everything around us could be fake, an illusion. If we can break up this erroneous perception where we've trapped ourselves and reorganize it properly by letting it go and seeing what's there, we will be under the undoing, the atonement principle, where our perception is healed. We will be able to transcend our body. What would that mean? Into the invisible, where healing apparently exists. How can healing exist in the invisible? What if it's purely about relaxing the grip on our perception and healing that perception by affirming our own spirit, the point from which we'll be able to laugh as bodies, while being connected to a true source, we'll be able to laugh and say, I was taking all of this too seriously. That feels impossible with all of the torturous news that exists. And I would understand if from that lens you wanted to crucify this idea. I can feel that too. I'm human. I want you to be well. Where I do not see wellness, I am confused. And it's a great reflection for the ways that I'm not always treating myself well. I think from here we can go around in circles. So we'll leave it be. But perhaps our insistence on being mad at an idea that the worst things that we can notice that we see on TV, the news, the ideas, that those ideas, even though we may know people who can tell us how they've been traumatized by those ideas, I do not know how to recognize this or to reconcile this. And perhaps that is the idea that I don't know how I have to let go. And that when I let go, I can feel and notice some divine order that I may step into knowledge eventually. That I will realize this has always been easy. What would make it the easiest? That it simply wasn't there. That's easier than undoing anything. May you feel healed. Lesson 37. My holiness blesses the world. Yeah, I want to get into more holiness. If we're a spirit and we're holy, created in the image, the divinity of God's mind, connected directly to Him, and He can speak directly to us very specifically, and we will practice specificity back, and we will use devotion without force as a means of saying, I want this to be true. I want to try this on. I want the idea of me to be based in truth and love. I want to feel this love and realize that there's nothing that I need to do or have that could outweigh what I am and what I can offer. I want to be living a world as a person where I am free to forgive, that it makes sense to me that I have knowledge of this divine order. I want to feel that I am holy, not that I am in lack. Holy, full of holes. No, I want to be holy, as in whole. I don't need it to be an arrogance. It's not about how I look or how I think or undoing any way that I feel that I have not been in my best character. Or even that right now, finding limited spelling, spell casting words. I want to know what it's like to celebrate myself as perfection, being one of God's creations, which surely must come with some level of understanding, acceptance, forgiveness, love for whatever shape that I am. That my idea of whatever perfection is very imperfect. I want everything around me to be enveloped in my holiness. You, me, my dog, my family, absolutely. May I hear my own dedication, my desire to see things differently. May I hear my own desire to see. May I see what I desire. May I do so with love and appreciation and an open mind, not for power, control, spectacle, or magic. May you feel the same. May you teach me that your holiness blesses the world. This idea contains the first glimmerings, cute word. This idea contains the first glimmerings of your true function in the world, or why you are here. Oh, fantastic. we've been speculating a little bit about what would be a true purpose. And the first side of this is the idea that our holiness blesses the world, that is our true purpose. If that's our true purpose, and this idea could be found in anything, perhaps everything's true purpose, working backwards ultimately to its meaning, what it is, but its true purpose is also to bless the world. Maybe. Your purpose is to see the world through your own holiness. My purpose is to be patient and read. My purpose is to see the world through my own holiness. So, okay, everything that I just declared, may I see through my own holiness. I would have to if everything is enveloped in it. I must literally see through it. Thus, you are, and the world blessed together. Okay, your purpose is to see the world through your own holiness. Thus, you are, and the world blessed together. Oh, excuse me. Thus are you and the world blessed together. We've been learning that it is a blessing to give and receive. And so somehow our purpose must be giving and receiving an idea of a blessing. That our purpose is to see the world through our own holiness. And in doing so, I, you, and the world are blessed together. No one loses. We are underscoring that idea about vision again, that there is no sacrifice. It may only bless. So true vision is to recognize supposedly our purpose, to see the world through our own holiness. We are blessed by this idea. True vision and seeing the world through our own holiness seem to be innately combined. No one loses. Nothing is taken away from anyone. Everyone gains through your holy vision. It signifies the end of sacrifice because it offers everyone his full due. Whoa. No more sacrifice. Only gains. Nothing will be taken away. No loss. The end of sacrifice because true vision, fulfilling our purpose, seeing through our own holiness, offers everyone his full due. Everyone becomes full. And he is entitled to everything because it is his birthright as a son of God. What was the line from a previous lesson? Everything you want is yours. It already is. It already is yours. This is your birthright as a son of God. You are entitled to everything. I think it's very prudent to underscore that if we are dipping into manipulation and hoarding, seizing power through control, consuming all assets at the cost of others, that we are misguided. This is conscious control. This is a spectacle. It often requires that we exist in untruths. And therefore, we are always caught in the energy of maintaining a lie, sucking our own life away, trying to keep this projected image of the ego alive. Who can see through it? Those who know truth. The end of sacrifice, offering everyone their full due, entitled to everything, as is the birthright, being a son of God. You exist. It is your right to everything. How could you be entitled to everything? What is everything? Everything across different spans of time means wildly different things. Everything would mean maybe all time. How could you be entitled to everything? Perhaps the way we are perceiving everything as individual ideas and objects is our erroneous thinking, that you are entitled to everything, the opportunity to experience all things as a son of God, as a spirit of God, as a mind of God. There is no other way in which the idea of sacrifice can be removed from the world's thinking. It's on you. Any other way of seeing will inevitably demand payment of someone or something. There is always a cost. In order for there to be no cost and only bless, we must see everything through our own holiness. My holiness blesses the world. Please say it. My holiness my holiness blesses the world. My holiness blesses the world. I see everything through my holiness. This is how we remove sacrifice from all of the world's thinking. It depends on you. If it couldn't be possible until everyone did it, but if it is possible that you are creating everything that you are noticing in your imagination, could it be possible that it literally depends on you? It literally depends on you. Not because you are part of a chain of everyone having to do it before it will be done. Maybe. But maybe every one that you are experiencing, and this feels mind-bending because this would apply to me, but every one that you are experiencing is made up by you, which is your divine capability as a son of God, as a spirit of God, as a mind of God. If everyone was made up and everything that you see is made up, and what you are building around you is a projection of your own self-image and your image making, then it would literally be you recognizing your holiness, that it envelops everything around you, that your holiness blesses the world. It would literally be up to you to forgive and release and let go, for the whole world to be healed, for the whole world to change, because you are creating sickness and death. You are creating life and love. You're creating the whole world. Any other way of seeing will inevitably demand payment of someone or something. Only true vision may bless. It may only bless, but only true vision may bless. Only true vision requires no sacrifice of anyone. Only true vision allows for gain and no loss. Anything that is not true vision is the inverse. It always requires payment, sacrifice of someone or something. As a result, the perceiver will lose, nor will he have any idea why he is losing. Yet is his holiness restored to his awareness through your vision. Your holiness blesses him by asking nothing of him. Those who see themselves as whole make no demands. If you are full, what could you need? If you are abundant in love, could you not give it away infinitely? and need nothing back? We must see through our own holiness. There is no other way to remove the idea of sacrifice from the world's thinking. When someone else or something else must lose because we believe that sacrifice must be true, the perceiver, whoever is looking at the world that way, will lose. We are creating the idea of lack in the world, imbalance. I believe you cannot be paid that amount of money, because if I pay you that much money and I only have this much money, then I can't get paid more money. So you must sacrifice. You must pay. I've created lack. Here's the idea. We will not even know why we are losing. Why? Why would we believe that we are losing? How could we not see it? Because we are building with illusions. We think we are gaining something. More money, let's say in this case that I presented. Therefore, with our winnings, the sacrifice of someone or something else, we have some kind of survivor's bias, winner's bias. We thought whatever we did worked because, look, we have more bounty. And we're creating a chain of attacks in the first action that even if we're doing everything with just cause and for the greater good, we are still creating a relative imbalance. People will feel attacked, eventually cornered, and then we will feel attacked. We will have come accustomed to keeping what we have, that it is who we are, and we will defend it. And we will be unable to see that with all we have, we are losing, as in the world's perspective, because we will only assign losing with losing what we have hoarded. I think it's okay for you to have. You are entitled to everything. We want to feel full. How do we feel our fullest? Through the awareness of our vision. What is our vision? That we may bless, that our holiness blesses. Becoming aware of this vision is what heals the world and removes the sacrifice. Becoming aware of the vision allows us to notice that we have been losing the whole time. We've been creating this sickness and death. Your holiness blesses by asking nothing. Those who see themselves as whole make no demands. Your holiness is the salvation of the world. It lets you teach the world that it is one with you, not by preaching to it, not by telling it anything, but merely by your quiet recognition that in your holiness all things are blessed along with you. Wow. We have permission to simply wake up alone, quietly, and recognize that because of our holiness, all things are blessed, and so are we. that we may simply do just this. We don't have to preach. We don't have to tell anyone anything. We simply allow our true vision to allow everyone to gain by being viewed through it. That we are blessed, that they are blessed. So be it. Today's 4 longer exercise periods, each to involve 3 to 5 minutes of practice, begin with the repetition of the idea for today, followed by a minute or so of looking about you as you apply the idea to whatever you see. My holiness blesses this chair, that window, this body. That's with our eyes open. So my eyes open. My holiness blesses this dog. My holiness blesses this book. My holiness blesses this lamp. Then close your eyes and apply the idea to any person who occurs to you, using his name and saying, my holiness blesses you, Kesten. Very interesting. So eyes open, looking around, applying the idea to the objects that we see. Eyes closed, we are now going to think of a person. My holiness blesses you, Mom. You may continue the practice period with your eyes closed. You may open your eyes again and apply the idea for today to your outer world if you so desire. You may alternate between applying the idea to what you see around you and to those who are in your thoughts. Or you may use any combination of these 2 phases of application that you prefer. The practice period should conclude with a repetition of the idea with your eyes closed and another following immediately with your eyes open. My holiness blesses the world. My holiness blesses those books. My holiness blesses that candle. My holiness blesses that TV. My holiness blesses you, grandmother. My holiness blesses you, Maiko. My holiness blesses you, Father. My holiness blesses you, sister. My holiness blesses the world. My holiness blesses the world. There's an example of the longer practice period, 3 to 5 minutes. Begin by repeating, my holiness blesses the world. With eyes open, you will list objects that your holiness blesses. With eyes closed, you will name people. My holiness blesses you, Kesten. And then anytime you want, you may open your eyes and express how your holiness is blessing an object. And anytime you want, you may close your eyes and express how your holiness is blessing a person. My holiness blesses you, Otonita. But when you are done, with your eyes closed, you will say, "My holiness blesses the world." Eyes closed, please repeat after me. My holiness blesses the world. And then eyes open, repeat after me. My holiness blesses the world. The shorter exercises consist of repeating the idea as often as you can. It is particularly helpful to apply it silently to anyone you meet, using his name as you do so. I love that idea. I love that idea. Tomorrow I want to meet somebody, hear their name, and in my mind, my holiness blesses you, so and so. It is essential to use the idea if anyone seems to cause an adverse reaction in you. Offer him the blessing of your holiness immediately, that you may learn to keep it in your own awareness. If you're cut off on the highway, if someone argues with you tomorrow, if you're pissed off and you have someone for sure who did it to you, or they act in some way, somehow pictured on the news, although I think it'd be more palpable if it's someone we know in person. But no matter, with our eyes closed, if they're in our mind or if they are right in front of us, not that we need to speak to them, but in our own quiet way, as we don't have to preach or tell anyone, we will simply say, "My holiness blesses you. Thank you for reminding me to keep it in my awareness, to be aware of my holiness." I am Kesten Rono, and I am holy. I am full in my holiness. I have nothing to lose. And my holiness blesses you. I am curious about divine order and true vision, about seeing the world through my holiness, about eliminating sacrifice, suffering, disease, destruction, death, depression. May it be so. My holiness envelops everything I see. My holiness blesses you. Thank you for being here. And I'll see you tomorrow for day 38 of our exploration of A Course in Miracles. Please be well.